going to be a soil sampler. In real-time design, we'll see what we can do. We're going to make sure that no matter when you start in a drawing, any drawing, you check your units. So we're going to do this in millimeters. We're going to go ahead and draft up a circle in the plane that is the ground plane. And if you notice there, it's trying to find the other plane. We're going to try to graft it up here, zooming in and out on the ground plane. And I'm going to make that circle, well, 75 would be across the 37.5. And then we're going to say actually it's got 36 sides. And that's going to put it right there. And we're going to say 37.5. And we probably blew the number of sides, so we're going to live with that. We're going to go ahead now and offset that just a very, very slight amount, but then have some potential issues. So we're going to use the offset command, and we're going to offset it back in the order of 2 millimeters. And we're now going to think about the fact that really, in the end, we're going to have a hard time doing anything like this without having some spot that can hide. It's called a convex or a concave shape. But I'm just going to draft a line from here to there, and I'm going to take and with that one and that one holding the shift key, and I'm holding just on the line there, I'm going to rotate, holding the control key, I'm going to rotate that 5 degrees, just 5. 5 degrees means it's going to be 72 times around the circle. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all of that. I'm going to get rid of this. Right, I'm going to take that here, I'm going to push it up. That was some in the order of 8 times 25, which is 200. That's 200 tall. And my guess is I'm not going to put an edge down here on the bottom. We'll do that later if we get this to work. I'm going to go ahead over the top of this, right click, Sketchy Physics, which we have a new one, Sketchy Physics, new curve. Cool. Alright, we're going to grab that, edit, make group. Now we did find where the curve, and we're going to take that group, right click, Sketchy Physics, and we are going to call it a convex hull. That said, we know we want to do an array. We're going to go ahead and grab this here. We're going to grab the rotate, click here once, hit the control key and go 5 degrees, and then 71 times, because there's 72 in the full circle. Did that wrong. I'm going to come back and see what it did wrong. Edit, undo, rotate. Again, all this is thoughtful. It can be done in AutoCAD as well. We're just going to show you how quickly this comes to physics. You can click on that, hit the control key, and you're going to say 5 degrees, and then you're going to say 71 times. And you've got pretty much your soil sampler. You now make this over the top, grab everything, right click, make a group, and just for grins now, to check that your machine's not going to explode, which it very often will, I'm going to save right away. I'm going to call this a soil sampler. I'm going to hit save here. I'm going to bring in the floor, which looks like that, and I'm going to turn on physics and probably expect this to explode because it's having problems with convex hulls on this machine. And there it is. It hasn't exploded. Yes, it has. It has exploded. So you have to get used to that. In this program and a number of others, especially as you get into something that's coming out of the open source world, you're going to have that issue again. I'm going to continue and try it on another machine, however. I'm going to be curious why this. I'm going back into SketchUp. That's why you tend to save a lot. I'm going to go back to here, File, Open, Hopefully it remembered where I put it. I should have put it where this is a soil sampler. Open here, and now we've got something. And in the end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do some more design on this. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and show you how you do then add the kind of slider that would move that thing either up or down, or in reality you knew that there was some sort of counterweight on here. So the kind of thing that you might want to do is now grab another part off of here. So I'm holding the shift key down, I'm going to go here, and I've got a part there. That's kind of giving me this cross section that I need to design something else perhaps. So I can take that section, I can grab the section, and I can go ahead and pull it up through time. So right around there, I'm going to kind of pull that section. You're used to doing this soon in AutoCAD, but one of the things you can do is right click. You can create a group from the slice. Now that group is essentially the same as a block. I've got that, and I've got this slice here. I can now, if I want, go ahead and move that up, right? Get that out of there. But that group here, I can move as well. I'm going to take that, move it up, right? And I'm just moving it straight up the blue. If it'll find the blue, you just hold the up arrow key. It'll tend to find the blue if you're not on the blue. I'm going to quickly go ahead and figure out where that thing went. Right-click, erase. There it is up there. This is something perhaps now you could then draft. You've lost the center of it. There's a few other things you might want to carry around when you do these sections, but you could go ahead and in this case take that, right click, and explode. So now right click, explode that slice. Now you got individual pieces, and you can start to see what this did in terms of overlap. That's probably why it exploded, because I hadn't thought so well. However, if you draft a line on top of a line, you're probably going to get one of these back. So we're going to see whether there is anything there. There probably is. We're going to go ahead and P for push. There's nothing there. That's just a bunch of line work. So learning how to do sections and the like in here. We'll see. Learning and worrying about overlap. As that thing went around the circle, it actually doesn't look so overlappy. You've got a little bit of potential overlap because you have this idea that you have to divide things up into actually lines typically to do a lot of the solid modeling. And so we'll see that our soil sampler is not as good as it might be. We could take a little bit more time and have actually figured out what this angle was and how it went together and what our center line was if we would have started correctly. Though this should generally work. So as you get playing in sketchy physics, get very aware of saving early, and then expecting it to explode depending on the type of machine you have. And I finally then give you within SketchUp here how easy it is. I've got basically something you can called a perspective view here, and so this perspective is how your eye looks at things. And says I'm moving up forward and back, right? I can go ahead and in this case say view, animation, add scene. It's going to remember this setting. I can now change my camera to a parallel projection. I'm going to click it here. You see how everything is parallel to each other. I'm going to say view, animation, add scene, and then I can jump back and forth between the parallel perspective and the parallel projection. No sound effects, but pretty interesting, neat stuff as you look at this visual stuff. Now, Sketchy Physics 3.2 is now out, and it has a MIDI. So all of you I've told to download Sketchy Physics, well, you might want to wait a week or so, because it does have a sound generator, works on the MIDI principle. Once again, coming, I believe, out of Google's 20% free time for their engineers. This guy, Chris Phillips, is amazing. And you're now at about the point where you can start to put together, once you're through Excel, you can put together some Excel, you can put together some AutoCAD and some SketchUp, and you can start to creatively problem solve in addition to knowing these general shapes, which I will work on giving you visuals again for, but the circle, this over that times that equals that, the unit circle, the soil box, at least in terms of the definitions, and then we will start heading into this idea of strength, stress, strain. And one there then in the middle, of course, is a grain size distribution curve, so you can pick out the median particle size, the effective size, and then how well graded something is. So all that said, this was a feeble attempt. I'm going to try it one more time in here. I'm going to turn this on and expect it to explode. There it goes, it explodes. So I'll pull this onto another computer and see whether it takes. Thanks for listening.